Hello.
Hello.
Recording and pin myself. Wonderful. Okay. Lovely. So let's take our parallel stance. Roll our shoulders back, close our eyes, and just focus on our breathing. So lovely deep inhales, filling those lungs up through the nose. And exhaling, releasing that breath out through the mouth until you need to take another deep inhale. Exhale, release that breath out through the mouth. Lovely, slow, gentle breathing. And feel that breath making you light as you grow taller each time you exhale through that spine. Make sure those shoulders are completely relaxed. And feel those feet pushing against the floor. Making sure you're balancing over the big toe, the little toe, and the heel on each foot. And let's just do some circles with those hips. Carrying on breathing. Just allowing that whole body to move as you circle the hips around. Coming back to center and going in the opposite direction. Can you guys still hear me? I had a notification come up. Yeah, good. Well, let's go back round in the other direction. Hello, Mark. I'm just going to pop you on silent.
Thank you.
Okay, and again, changing direction. So we've got those legs shoulder width apart, shoulders relaxed. Okay, let's make that circle smaller and smaller until we've found our neutral central position. Take a lovely deep inhale. We're just going to lift that left leg up to the side as high as you're comfortable going, and then back to center. So let's exhale as we lift. Inhale as we come back down with control. Exhale, lift. Inhale, center. So we're just testing those abductors right now and the glute muscles as well as that balance, of course. Make sure you're focusing directly on a fixed point in front of you, and you can hold it up there a little longer if you want. Let's do 4 more on that side. 3 more. Keep those shoulders relaxed. 2 more. Oh, completely losing my balance there. I was trying to see what the name was on the thing. And your last one. Hello, Matt. I'm just going to mute you as well. Go. All right, let's swap sides. So we're doing the exact same thing on the other side. So up as high as we're comfortable going. Inhale back to center. And exhale to lift. Inhale back to center. Exhale, lifting. Inhale back to center. Remember, use that core. Exhale, lift. As high as you're comfortable going. You should feel a squeeze in here, in the outside of your hip, as you contract those abductor muscles. Let's do 5 more on this side. And coming to 4 more. Coming to 3 more. 2 more. And your final one. Inhale back to center. Wonderful full body stretch just to loosen off that tension. Reaching further through those fingers as you breathe out. Lovely stuff. Okay, coming back to center, we're going to do those side bends that we did last week. So keeping those legs hip width apart, we're going to take a deep inhale. On the exhale, coming down to the side. Breathe in as you stretch through the side. And this time, reaching up on the other side, making sure you're not leaning forwards or backwards with that chest. Breathe in as you stretch. And exhale as you move. Keep that top shoulder relaxed as well as the bottom shoulder, of course. And keep that tummy as tiny as possible. Make sure you're breathing the whole time. And if you like, you can swoop that arm as you come back down. Thinking about lengthening through both sides. Let's do 2 more on this side. And your last one. Wonderful, back to center. We're going to carry on the other side, inhaling as we stretch. Exhale, swooping down. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, pointing up. Inhale, stretch, tiny waist. Keep that top shoulder relaxed the whole time. Keep that core engaged. Try and just increase your range of movement. The more you do the exercise, the more you should feel you can stretch. But don't compensate by leaning forwards or backwards. Okay, let's do a couple more on this side. Come to your last one. Wonderful, back to center. Open that chest up and inhale. Exhale, close the chest, just looking down. Inhale, open, relax shoulders behind you. Exhale and close. Inhale, open that chest up. Excuse me, exhale and close. And again. Three more. Just give me a message. You can just sort of read. No, just let me know if you can't hear me. And come to your last one. Wonderful. Back to center. We're just going to look up with the head and circle down to the chest, back up to center, and go the other way. Remember, we're making sure that we're not collapsing that head back, more thinking about length through the front of the neck. Keeping that core engaged and centered. Okay, finishing off that circle, let's go into some rotation, just simple standing rotation. So you've got the options of having those arms crossed across the chest, hands by the ears, or arms out, and you can take your weights if you choose to. So just a lovely deep inhale, tiny waist, and it's the same as our seated rotation. We just circle to the right, looking back behind the shoulder, take a deep breath in there. Exhale, come to the left. You want to make sure that those hips are pointing forwards the whole time, and just choose whichever arm position works best for you. So as soon as you feel your hips start to rotate too, just stop with that movement and think about that stretch in that lower spine. So making sure you're rotating through the lower back, stretching your obliques and the lats. If you do have your arms out like me, remember to reach from fingertip to fingertip as well. And keep that core engaged the whole time. So think about tiny waist. Shoulders completely relaxed. Okay, after this one more on each side. And when you're finished, come back to center, roll those shoulders back. Wonderful stuff. Okay, so we're just going to go into the V stretch, just a couple of V stretches. We're going to add the monkey squat as well. Remember, the squat is always optional. Lovely deep inhale, tiny waist, up into that V, opening up those shoulders and that chest. Breathing in, making sure we're not collapsing back too much, just thinking about length through the front. And on the exhale, let's come back to center, release, inhale. Exhale and reach. Inhale into that stretch. Back to center. Add in that squat if you choose to. Breathing in, stretch. And into your monkey squat. Knees directly over the toes. Weight on the heels. Breathe in. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, squat. Two more of whichever one we're doing. And your last one. Wonderful. Reset those shoulders. We're going to come to the back of the mat to go into our roll down. So just starting with those basic roll downs, feet directly underneath the hips. And a lovely deep inhale as you roll those shoulders back and lengthen through the neck. Exhale, dropping that head, loosening those arms, and we're coming down vertebrae by vertebrae. Knees are soft, but they're not, knees are straight, but they're not completely locked. Take a deep inhale out in the end. And on the exhale, use that core to stack yourself back up vertebrae by vertebrae. Imagine there's a flat wall behind you. And then roll back, inhale, lengthen. Exhale to repeat. Now, if you'd like, when you come to the bottom of the roll down, you can hold those elbows and think about that length in your spine for a couple more breaths. And that gets you a lovely trapeze stretch as well as the tricep stretch. Inhale at the top. Exhale, repeat. So we're just doing these exercises in our own time, making sure we're not going too quickly at any point, making sure the head and the arms are completely relaxed when you get down to the bottom. try and increase that range of movement each time you repeat the exercise. And again, at any point, if you'd like to, you can hold it just a bit longer. Cradle those elbows. Feel that stretch through the backs of your legs. So I'm just going to check my screen. Just carry on with that exercise. We are fine. We are fine. Okay, lovely stuff. So when you come to the end of whichever roll down you're on, we're going to go into a circle. Maybe it's better for me to show you from the front. So we're going to go down to the side, rolling down to the ground, lengthening through the other side and back to center. And then let's repeat in the other direction. So again, trying to keep those legs reasonably straight. So just adding that bit of rotation to the exercises, adds a bit of a stretch to the obliques and lats, lower back, intercostal muscles as well. So we really are stretching everything with this. Let's do a couple more circles. And one more in each direction. Wonderful. And when you're finished with that, let's just do a final roll down to the mat. And we will crawl down onto all fours. Knees directly underneath the hips, hands directly underneath the shoulders. Remember, you do have the option to load onto your fists like this, or onto your forearms like this, if that is uncomfortable for you. Let's take a deep inhale. We'll just go into a cat. So exhale as we slide those shoulder blades apart from one another, tailbones tucked under, and stretch through that spine. Lovely deep breath in as we stretch. Make sure that head is relaxed. And on the exhale, just coming back to neutral and then allowing that stretch through the core and the front of the neck. Inhale. Exhale to pivot and come back into that cat stretch. And then lengthening through the tummy and the front of the neck. Lovely stuff. Let's come to a finish with our last cat stretch. We'll come back to neutral. And we're going to go into the pointer. So we're going to take a lovely deep breath in. And on the exhale, just lifting that left leg, stretching through the toe, trying to keep that core strong, breathing in there. And as we exhale, we're going to swap to the right. And breathe. Inhale. Exhale as we move, inhale as we stretch. If you'd like, you can add the arms. So that is opposite arm to leg. And you're really thinking about that length through from the fingertip to the tip of the toe. Try not to pivot that pelvis too much. Exhale, move. Inhale, really lengthen. Keep that core strong. Don't allow that back to sag in at all. Keep on breathing the whole time. Going to do one more on each side. Wonderful. When you're finished, just keep the hands down. We're just going into the legs now. We're just going to point up towards the ceiling and back to center. So let's exhale as we lift up. And this time, inhaling as we come back to center. Exhale, pointing up. Inhale, back to center. Again, try to keep that core really strong. So you're not doing too much of a tilt with the pelvis. Keeping those muscles engaged, especially that core. We're going to go into some pulses. So lifting that right leg first. You've got two options with the arms here. You can keep them up straight. It's actually a little bit more challenging if you go onto the forearms. So whatever works best for you, you should choose. So we're going to pulse. Okay, so going down from 20, just poking a hole in the ceiling. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Try and get the top of that range of movement. 6, 5, 4. Keep strong. 3, 2, and 1. Back to center. Deep inhale and release. On the exhale, lifting that opposite leg, and we're going to repeat. So we did 25 last time. I just didn't count for the first 5. So going down from 20, 19, 18, keep that core strong, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale back to center, up onto those straight arms if you wish again. And we're going to go opening to the side. So opening that right leg into a right angle from the left leg, which is on the mat. Inhale back to center and open the left leg. Inhale back to center. So again, squeezing those glutes at the top of that range of motion. Inhale back to center. Exhale as you lift. And inhale back to center. I can tell this is going to be a killer when we go into the pulses. Okay, so finishing off that left leg, and then we'll go into the pulses with the right leg. All right, so 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. If you need to rest, please do. But try and get to the end. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh, wonderful stuff. Back to center. Take a lovely deep inhale. We're going to do that one more time on that left leg. And 20, 19, 18, 17. Trying to keep that weight central. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Closing that gently and with control. We're going into the shell stretch to release. So just drop that bottom down onto the heels, lengthen through the arms, and take a lovely couple of breaths there. Coming over to the left-hand side and lengthening through the outside of the right side of the body. And then coming over to the other side, taking a few breaths there. We're going to roll it over onto our backs. Remember, you can take a cushion or a block to support your head if you please. So, legs are parallel to one another, hands facing towards the ceiling, shoulders completely relaxed. Knees are bent with a nice space between the bottom and the heels. And we're just going to look down to the chest. And inhale as we look up towards that wall above our heads. Exhale down to the chest again. And inhale, looking up. Exhale down. Inhale up, keep those shoulders relaxed. Exhale down, reaching up towards the wall with the top of the head there. Inhale, nose looking up to the top wall. We'll do a couple more. And your last one. And just try to find that central position, looking directly up with the eyes towards that ceiling. So inhale, engage through the core and close that gap between the lower back and the mat. We're just going to set on neutral. Exhale to release. So inhale, engage pelvic floor, closing the gap between the lower back and the mat. Exhale, release that completely. Remember, we want to start off with these movements being really big and really strong as well. So thinking about engaging those muscles as much as you possibly can. And really identifying those correct muscles as well. So remember, it's those muscles that saddle the bladder and bow. Inhale, engage. Exhale to release. Inhale, engage, closing that gap. Exhale to release. Let's do a couple more there, making them as strong and powerful as we can. This time holding for a few more breaths. Inhale, engaging. And gently release, going into some big circles with those hips. And then making them smaller and smaller until we've found our central position. Wonderful stuff. Let's just place those hands aside. We're going straight into shoulder bridge. So inhale, engage and close that gap between the lower back and the mat. And articulate that spine as we come up vertebrae by vertebrae into shoulder bridge. Engage glutes at the top. Exhale, release vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep those shoulders relaxed. Inhale at the end and close that gap between the lower back and the mat. Exhale, coming up to shoulder bridge, pushing through those hips towards the ceiling, making sure they're staying level. Really think about articulating your spine the whole time. Okay, today's progression is going to be a leg lift and lower. Remember, the progressions are always optional. So coming up in shoulder bridge and holding. We're going to inhale as we lift the leg. Exhale as we lower. Try and keep that shoulder bridge strong and even. You might want to readjust a little bit. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower, trying to keep those hips even. Inhale, point and lift. Exhale, lower. Lovely stuff. Back to center. We're going to breathe in. We're going to do 3 on the other side as well. Inhale, point and lift that leg. Exhale, lower. If you don't want to do this progression, please just carry on with the shoulder bridges, just single repetitions. Exhale, lower, one more. Inhale, point and lift. And exhale, lower, coming back to center. We're going to breathe in and we're going to exhale, coming out of shoulder bridge, vertebrae by vertebrae. Take a lovely deep breath in and we're going to do that again. So when you're up there, making sure you're strong. Inhale, point and lift that leg. Exhale, flex and lower. Inhale, point and lift, staying strong. Exhale, flex and lower. Remember that space between the chin and the chest. One more. Inhale, point and lift. Exhale, flex and lower. Coming back into center. We're going to repeat on the other side. Inhale, point and lift. Exhale, flex and lower. Inhale, point and lift. Keep that strong. Just 2 more. Exhale, flex and lower. Try not to let the bridge sag. 1 more. Great stuff. Gently and with control. We're going to lower that shoulder bridge down and hug those knees into the chest. Let's go for clockwise rotation. And anti-clockwise rotation. So just hugging that into the chest. We're just going to go with those feet rotating. Clockwise and anti-clockwise as you see fit. And take a few breaths there. Wonderful. And as our next exercise is quite similar to that one we just did, we're going to release through a full body stretch as well. Don't worry, it's easier. Same but not in shoulder bridge. So let's go through those heels first, stretching. And then pointing those toes. Lovely. Okay, let's just place those arms by the hips. We're going to bend the knees and come back into that position we were in before. This time we're going to make sure that we're staying really strong, as always, of course, in our neutral position. That left leg is staying bent, and we want to make sure that that's not moving at all throughout the exercises. Keep Those shoulders relaxed. Make sure you've got that space between the chin and the chest. We're going to point that leg. Inhale and lift as high as you can. And really think about the stretch this time, which you couldn't do so much in shoulder bridge. Exhale, flex and lower as low as you can without compromising this neutral. As soon as that space between the lower back and the mat starts to release, then you know you've gone too low. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, flex, keep that core engaged. Inhale, up to center. Exhale, use that core strength, lower that leg. And that left knee is staying still the whole time. Wonderful, we're going to come back up to center and we're going to go into our circles. So starting clockwise and then anti-clockwise. You can alternate the breath with the direction of the circle. Really try and keep that opposite leg still. If you find it's wobbling too much, if you find your hips wobbling too much, just make those circles smaller. You can do tiny circles if you want, whatever works best for you. Keeping the shoulders relaxed, keep that jaw relaxed as well, don't clench the teeth. Let's do 2 more in each direction. One more in each direction. Wonderful, bend that leg again. I'm going to lift up with the opposite leg. I'm going to take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to flex and lower through that heel. As low as you can go without arching back. Inhale, point and lift. Really try and get that high. Exhale, flex and lower. Inhale, point and lift. Exhale, flex and lower. Keeping that right leg this time as still and strong as possible. Keeping those shoulders relaxed. Remembering to use that core strength as well the whole time. Let's go for 2 more of those. Come to your final repetition. Wonderful. We're coming back to center. We'll go into those circles. Again, making sure those hips are staying anchored to the mat. You can go a bit slower to make sure you're controlling it. Bent leg is staying strong. If you're compromising by moving that leg or wobbling the hips, then just make those circles smaller. Shoulders stay relaxed, jaw stays relaxed. Okay, 1 more in each direction. Wonderful. Coming back to center. So we're going to add the figure 8 stretch or the corkscrew. If you don't want to do this, maybe just go into a full body stretch and just release for a little while. It is a little bit more challenging than the other 2. So we're just propping ourselves up onto those forearms and we're taking both legs up, coming up to center. You can just hold this if you want as an alternative to the full stretch. So we're going to clockwise circle, back to center, and then anti-clockwise. So you can kind of inhale as you come to the end of the circle, exhale as you move. Keep that chest open, shoulders are staying relaxed and not hunching up by your ears. Nice space and elongation through the neck. Let's do 3 more in each direction. Lovely control, lovely flow. Trying to keep those legs as straight as possible, but if you must bend them, you can. Okay. I've lost count. Let's do 1 more in each direction now. That's about right. Wonderful. We're just going to roll straight over onto our fronts and come into a full body stretch there. Take a few lovely deep breaths to release. Okay, so coming into the quads by lifting that right ankle, bending it towards the bottom and pulling on it. With the right hand, you can lift the thigh if you want. It also might be more comfortable to support that forehead with your arm. Take a few breaths as you stretch through there. Okay, great stuff. Let's swap those arms over. So left arm reaching towards left leg, stretching through the left quad, and the hip flex through if you can get to it by lifting that leg. Okay, that's great stuff. Okay, release that. We're just going to do a few more gentle seated exercises before we come to the cool down. So let's start with that saw. I say gentle. I know a lot of people don't like this one. We won't go for too long. So feet flexed, stretching up in the center. Let me show you from the front. Inhale and exhale as you reach towards that right leg with the left hand. Inhale back to center. Exhale, reaching in the other direction, keeping both those hips anchored to the mat. You can come down as far as you can go, whether that be just to the car or a little bit further. Inhale, stretch, keep those feet flexed. Try and get that nose to the knee if you can, but without lifting those hips. Let's make that more dynamic. So 2 saws on each side. Inhale back to center. Saw, saw. Inhale back. Saw, saw. Inhale, stretch. Let's do 2 more after this one. Keep those feet flexed. 1 more. Wonderful. Legs together. We're going into seated rotation. So again, you want those feet to be flexed. You've got the same options as before. Arms crossed over the chest, by the ears, or stretched outright. My arms are quite tired, so I'm going to leave them crossed. You might want to do the same. Up to you. Remember, you can support yourself with a cushion underneath the bottom if you please. Deep inhale. And on the exhale, rotating around to the side, following that back shoulder with the head. Take an inhale there. Exhale, grow even taller as you rotate in the opposite direction. Inhale, stretch towards that back shoulder. Exhale as you rotate. Inhale, stretch. Tiny waist the whole time. Inhale and stretch. We'll do a couple more repetitions here. From the feedback of the class last week, I felt that you quite enjoyed doing those lovely arm stretches and having a bit of time for that at the end of the class, so we will do that again this week. One more in each direction. Wonderful, just slowing down. We're going to go into a spine stretch, seated with the feet flexed, lengthening through those arms, through the back of the spine. Keeping that head completely relaxed. Each time you exhale, just try and get further into that stretch. But keep those feet flexed, because that intensifies that stretch through the calves. Make sure everything's relaxed here. So heart flow, making sure you're sinking into that stretch and keeping those feet flexed. You want that jaw to be relaxed, those shoulders, the head. And you can almost feel yourself melting into the stretch, feel yourself lengthening, growing taller. Lovely, and in your own time, we're going to come out of that stretch. You want to take a cushion or a block to place under your head. And we're going to come into our round stretches. So head on the block, reaching towards that front arm. You can take the weight if you choose. So arms straight out in front of you. We're going to take a deep inhale. On the exhale, let's lift that top arm up, up and over. Following that with the head, keeping those hips stacked, but allowing the rest of the body to rotate. And we're going to relax into that stretch. So just going as far as you can, making sure you're in a T shape and not a Y shape. And remember, in that space between the shoulder and the chin. We'll take a few breaths there. Okay, coming back up. We're going to close back to the center. We're going to do that again. So lovely deep inhale, and then on the exhale, just gently and with control, lifting that top arm up. Staying on the same plane the whole time, making sure it doesn't lean up or down. We're going to stretch through that chest, feel that stretch through the pectorals, the biceps, and across the obliques and lower back muscles as well. Really try and relax into that shoulder, so relax into the stretch. Again, feel those arms lengthening, getting longer. And coming back to center. I'm sorry if you guys can hear my housemate. Hopefully he's not being quite loud enough. Okay, let's go into the chalk circles. So suggesting space, lovely deep breath in. We're going to circle up towards that wall above the head. And follow that with the head the whole time. We want to do these exercises in our own time, stopping wherever we're feeling the tension and stretching, breathing into that stretch. But ultimately, the exercise is to draw a big circle around yourself. So then you go down towards those feet, following with the head the whole time. And once you finish that first circle in that direction, you take a lovely deep breath in. And exhale, you're going to go down in the opposite direction. So we just alternate directions with those circles, but we do take our time with this. Everyone feels the tension in different places, so it's really a personal exercise. You can go back over those spots where you're feeling tension if you want to. Try not to go too quickly, but you can go as slow as you'd like. Even if that means just lying still and having a bit of a lovely deep inhale when you finish these circles and exhaling as you come back around. Really focus on your Pilates breathing, so making sure when you're doing this exercise that you're taking deep inhales, filling up those lungs. And then in that cycle, you're releasing that air out through the mouth, really releasing all that air out, almost pushing it out through the mouth until those lungs are completely empty. And we need to take another breath in. Okay, so whichever circle we're on right now, whichever direction we're going in, we're going to come to a finish with that one. And we are simply going to turn right over to the other side. Do excuse my back. And we're going to do exactly the same thing. So starting with those clam stretches, take a deep breath in, make sure those knees are bent. Exhale as you reach up and over with that top arm. And release and stretch through that shoulder. Trying to keep those hips stacked one on top of the other. Again, we're making sure we're getting that stretch through the lower back as well as those shoulders and that chest. And coming back to center. Let's do exactly the same thing again. Lifting up towards the ceiling, opening behind us to as far as we can go without tilting that arm upwards or downwards, and lengthen, holding that and breathing. I'm going to close. And again, we're going to go into our chalk circles. So taking your time, you're going to circle up towards the wall above your head to start with. Follow that with the head. And again, wherever you're feeling that tension, stop and stretch. Circling all the way down towards those hips, towards those feet. And once you finish that first circle, lovely deep inhale at the end. And on the exhale, circling around in the opposite direction. So remembering with each circle, we're alternating the direction. And again, really think about your Pilates breath. So as I'm sure I've mentioned before, yes, that Pilates didn't think that when we breathe that we use enough of our lung capacity. So we really, as a method, is to use the full capacity. It's every single ounce of air that we are inhaling and exhaling. Okay, so whichever circle you're on now, we just want to come to a finish with that. Going to release that weight aside. We'll just do a couple of figure 4 stretches, so one on each side, obviously. You can remove the block underneath your head if you choose. We're just coming onto our backs. So crossing that right leg over the left leg, so ankle to knee. We'll reach through that keyhole and stretch through the glute, the outside of the thigh. Piriformis. Starting with clockwise circle. Again, make sure you're not tensing those shoulders, they're just acting as an elastic band. Let's go into anti-clockwise circles. I'm going to run over just a couple of minutes today, I hope that's okay. And then just holding that wherever you want to, wherever you feel that tension, and circling this out. Okay, great stuff. Let's swap those legs over. And we're going to repeat on the other side. Circling clockwise first. Anti-clockwise. And again, just holding wherever you're feeling the tension. Circle those ankles. Choose a few spots, whatever works for you. Wonderful. Let's just release those legs gently and with control. We're going to come up to a standing position in our own time. Lovely stuff. Coming back to center. And let's start with some shoulder rolls going forwards, just isolating those shoulders. And release, coming down into that final roll down. Vertebrae by vertebrae. And just cradle those shoulders, allow that stretch through the shoulders. Sorry, cradle the elbows. And on the exhale, we're just going to release those arms and come back up. 3 circles with those shoulders going back. Resetting those shoulders to neutral. Great stuff. Let's have a little bit of a shake out if you need to. And we are all finished. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm sorry if I was a bit mean today compared to last week.
Thank you, Holly. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, nice balance. Right, bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.